All right, welcome to Talking Movies. We're back after a 3-week absence for the holidays. Got Blake, and Swank with me. I'm trying to say blank. Together they're blank.
They could worse.
But anyway, usually we start with movies we've seen recently, but we're going to get to that lastly. Talk about the Golden Globes to start out. What did everybody think? Any surprises? Any letdowns?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I didn't catch a single second of the Golden Globes. I did see the winners, though. Kind of surprised Ben Affleck won so much. I kind of thought Lincoln would be one of those that the foreign press would have loved, with Spielberg and all. So Affleck for me is the surprise. And who was it? Hugh Jackman won Best Actor for Les Mis. I kind of figured Bradley Cooper had that one sewn up, but.
Well, that was a comedy musical too. That's a weird mesh. I mean, how is any comedy going to stand up to Les Mis at this point?
I think honestly, whenever a musical is nominated, it generally wins at the Golden Globes.
Have either of you guys seen Les Mis?
I haven't.
I'm not.
I'll be honest. I don't have any interest in seeing it. I don't know.
Me neither. As a not a fan of musicals, somebody who doesn't like musicals, I should say. I'm not really. I'm sure I'll watch it. I'm not breaking down any doors to get to it.
My mom was really excited to see it. She's been a fan of the play for years, and she texted me if she saw it. I could tell she was pretty much crying when she texted me. I really can't go in her opinion because she's biased, but she loved it. So I'll be able to see it sometime sooner or later. The runtime doesn't have me too excited about it, but
Argo kind of surprised me too. But I mean, it did get nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards, right?
It did.
Just not
it did.
directed.
And they actually had to do it differently this year. The Golden Globes were voted on before the Oscars were announced. So everything that's kind of happened really has no bearing on what is going to happen.
Yeah.
In past years, it's somewhat influenced the race, I think. Mm-hmm. So Ben Affleck winning is kind of unfortunately not really going to play much into the Oscars, I think.
Right.
Because he's not even nominated for Best Director, I don't think. So.
No, yeah, he was just nominated for
screenplay.
Yeah, the movie was nominated. That was it for Best.
I mean, well done for Affleck.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
Have you guys both seen Argo?
Yes.
It's the best movie that he has directed by far. So, yeah, well done, I guess.
Yeah, and good for him too. It's been a long road since Good Will Hunting. You know, he's
that whole J-Lo thing too, almost.
And Phantoms and Daredevil. He's tried a bunch of different things.
Yeah, I think he's in a good spot now.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. Jennifer Gardner. Yeah, that's a good spot. Anyway, any other thoughts about the Globes? You know, I guess I'm not necessarily a huge fan of award shows. I did watch actually all of it just because probably Amy Poehler and Tina Fey were the hosts. Two extremely funny ladies. But, you know, I much prefer just to look and see who won afterwards. But it was a good show. You know, some awkward moments. Tommy Lee Jones not laughing once at Kristen Wiig and Will Ferrell was
when they showed that.
And how about that mustache of Will Ferrell? Huh? Wow. But anyway, moving on. I guess we can start with last movie we've seen, or last movies we've seen. Like I said, it's been 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
And when these movie junkies get 3 weeks without talking, we watch a lot of movies. So why don't we just start with one, and then you can go one, and then I'll go on.
Sure.
Go for it.
The last movie I watched, Silver Linings Playbook. I loved it. I teared up at the end. I laughed so hard. It hit me on so many different levels. I can't say enough how much I loved it. Everyone that I've been reading about lately has been talking about how De Niro shouldn't have gotten an Oscar nomination. I think he should win, to be honest. I think he's great in the movie.
He did get it. Oscar.
He did, yeah. It's like his first in
a
years, yeah. So, I mean, I think he should win. I think Bradley Cooper's great. David O. Russell has definitely bounced back from his ghost that have haunted him in Hollywood. He nailed it, I think, for me.
I've always been a fan of all of his other movies.
Yeah. What are some of his other movies? For some of us who don't know.
Three Kings, Ironheart Huckabees, recently The
Fighter.
Yes.
The Fighter, which I wasn't too crazy about.
Half and half. I mean, all the family stuff hit the right marks, and then everything else is kind of...
And see, I think he nailed all of that in this movie. Like, he got it right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean...
This is pretty much the last movie that I saw, too, and I would agree. I loved it. I totally recommend it. And I think all the I think all the acting categories, one person
It's
is nominated.
it's the first time in 30 years it's happened, I think.
And fully deserved.
Yeah.
All around.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, there was, like, the last 30 minutes, I had a big grin on my face the entire time. And, like, it's one of those things you don't notice at first, and then you're like, oh my god, I've been smiling for 15 minutes now. And, I mean, I can't praise it high enough. I loved it.
Me too. I definitely recommend it. I mean, it goes into some. You can tell it's going into predictable territory, but it throws all of that away.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's very good at what it does.
Yeah.
It's a crowd pleaser.
I guess the only movie of his that I've seen is Die Hard Huckabees, and I can't say I really liked it, but I was certainly affected by it.
Yeah, take it or leave it on that one.
movie,
yeah.
It's an interesting movie.
Ben, what do you got for us?
Well, I did recently watch that one. Last night we watched This Is 40, Judd Apatow's new movie with Paul Rudd and Leslie Mann. The sort of sequel to Knocked Up. I can tell with a lot of Apatow movies, you can tell that there's a good movie in there somewhere, but he just needs a better editor or just an editor in the first place. I don't know. There are just
An outside editor, maybe?
Yeah.
It was really long. There were some funny parts. A lot of hardcore fights in it too. Just kind of like you had to sit back and just.
You kind of wonder if it's based on his marriage with Leslie Mann.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it probably is.
Yeah, I've heard it's pretty autobiographical, definitely.
The best thing I read about that movie is this is 40 minutes too long.
It is too long. Yeah, I'd give it a. I don't know. I'd give it a. If I had to give it a grade, I'd give it a C+.
Yeah, I'd give it like a B. I mean,
B-.
Yeah, I liked it. I didn't think it was great. Melissa McCarthy from Bridesmaids has basically 2 scenes, and one of them she kills.
Yeah.
I thought that was the best part of the movie by far.
But it didn't need to be there.
It didn't need to be there.
But
it actually kind of fell into place now that I think about
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
it is the best scene of the movie. Yeah, too long. The whole thing with his dad, I really didn't care about.
With both dads.
Yeah.
Albert Brooks plays Paul Rudd's dad, and then
John Lithgow.
and strange performances in it as well. But there is, as a big fan of, used to be a big fan of the show Lost. There's a great Lost gag that goes throughout the entire movie, which I chuckle at most of those.
And if you're a Ryan Adams fan, he makes an appearance at the end of the movie.
Yeah. He's got a couple songs in it too. So I think he has a song that he wrote just for that movie that plays in the middle of the movie somewhere, and it's a really good song.
Well, it might be a running theme today, but I have not seen that. But I guess as somebody who's approaching that age, it's going to be a few years yet. But I think there's probably certain times in life that do go on too long, and maybe the movie indirectly and metaphorically is doing that. I don't know. I know my wife will like it just because of Paul Rudd, so.
He's good at it too.
Yeah, he's really good at it.
Yeah.
We'll have to get into some other time, but ladies love Paul Rudd, and ladies love the Ruffalo. They love Mark Ruffalo, and they love Paul Rudd. So if you want to watch a movie with your lady and make her happy, there you go. Pitch Perfect. I watched Pitch Perfect. Maybe it looks like a teeny bopper thing, or kind of in the step-up era of movies, but it's kind of a musical. I wouldn't necessarily call it a musical because it's not. I would consider musicals where they just break out in song in the middle of a scene for no apparent reason, and this didn't do that. This was all just a cappella. Pretty good cast. One of the guys from Workaholics is in it. Brittany Snow is in it, who is a very fine-looking woman. I can't remember that. Amanda Hendricks or Andrea Hendricks?
Anna Kendrick.
Yeah, there we go. She's the lead, and she does pretty good. Rebel Wilson's also in it. It's funny. It's a little more serious. It's definitely a movie for older people. It's not a movie for kids, but I enjoyed it. Like I said, it was just kind of I wouldn't say pointless comedy, but just a comedy that was good. I mean, it's certainly better than a lot of things I've seen recently.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really surprised.
I was pretty excited to see Rebel Wilson in more of a role in a movie, and I kind of was a little let down by her. I thought it was just kind of overdone, nothing that she hasn't done before. But
she was a gimmick in the movie.
Yeah.
Where is she from? Or is she just playing?
She's also in Bridesmaids.
Yeah,
she's the one that gets the tattoo of the tequila worm on her back.
Oh, yeah.
She's kind of been bouncing around here and there. She's pretty funny. If you've ever seen a TV interview, she's hilarious.
about to break out, I think.
Yeah, she is. So I was a little disappointed in her, but maybe I was just expecting too much of it. But good movie. I thought all the actors did really well. Yeah, I guess. I'm surprised you've seen it, actually.
Well, when my girlfriend and I go out to movies, it's kind of like she picks one, then I pick one. And I put it off for as long as I could. And one Sunday we went and saw it, and very, very surprised. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Huh.
So you back me up then, Brittany Snow, the redhead?
Yes.
Who's not actually a redhead?
Yes. Although I'm more fond of Kendrick than anything.
Yeah, she's a very good actress. I mean,
she is.
She's kind of been all over the place with the Twilight stuff, and then
Up in the Air.
Up in the Air with George Clooney. So she's
good.
Next movie.
Man, I have so many to list. I'm gonna go through some of the ones that are probably not well mentioned.
Me and Swank are going to eat some breakfast with you.
I saw a documentary I saw a few of them, but one that really stood out with me was called Jiro Dreams of Sushi, which is on Netflix, in case you're wondering. It's about this guy who makes sushi he's been making sushi for the past, I don't know, 70 years in Tokyo. And he's the only sushi chef.
70 years, wow.
He's the only sushi chef to ever get the Michelin 3-star rating. He's considered a national treasure by Japan, and it's just about him.
What's his name?
Jiro. And he's about him owning this sushi shop in the Tokyo subway, and it's just amazing. So well made. I saw it, and I was like, God, that was really good. And then it just sort of started to sink in with me, just like the emotions the movie brings up and how it was made and how the filmmakers loved making the movie about it, and this guy's stance on how to work and how to love your job and it won't be a job anymore, and just all these things. And I really highly recommend it.
Cool.
If I could do my top 10 list over again, I would probably put it on there. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
So it's a newer documentary then? Or?
It came out, like last March or last April, I think.
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
Netflix is great for documentaries.
Yeah, they've got a good selection.
Way too many of them.
I don't know which one I should tell. This one I watched recently. It had its theater run in 2012, but it was actually probably 2010 by Jay and Mark Duplass, the Duplass brothers. It was called the Dodeca Pentathlon. Pentathlon. Dodeca Pentathlon. Which was shot before Cyrus, but they ended up doing Cyrus and then going back and editing it and post-production stuff after Cyrus, and it kind of came out the same time as Jeffrey Lives at Home. But I really enjoyed that. I think I've enjoyed every one of their movies. Jeffrey Lives at Home, Cyrus, Baghead, The Puffy Chair. The movie it's really short too. All their movies are really short.
Yeah.
So you never
it's
really,
a good 75, 80 minutes
it never gives you any time to start losing interest. But it's about two brothers who, when they were kids, they had this 25 event, like sporting event or whatnot that they created, and it didn't end well, and the brothers kind of lose touch. And
are they in it?
They aren't. They aren't. No. But then years go by, and one of the brothers who's very bitter about the whole thing, and they kind of meet back up during a birthday weekend at the mom's house, and they try to recreate the event basically, and it's just
very funny.
It's very funny. It's also having someone who has an older brother, or just a brother in general. I think if brothers watch it together, you kind of at the end you look at each other and be kind of like it hits the mark very very well when it comes to relationships with siblings. I would recommend that.
I don't have any brothers, but anyway, I do have 5 sisters, but that's another show, another story. A little bit of a segue. I watched a movie with Mark Duplass, Safety Not Guaranteed. Kind of a indie film, I guess. It's got Aubrey Plaza from Parks and Rec, April from Parks and Rec. Mark Duplass is the crazy man. I kind of viewed him as somewhere between Dwight from The Office and a little Napoleon Dynamite too. I thought it was a really good movie, really unique film. Obviously, time travel is not unique, but it's just a really interesting tale. And something about it was, some certain parts about it were so real, and some of it was just so far fetched. I loved just the kind of the neutral ground it found there, and really great cast, just great performances. I can't imagine anybody else playing that role that Aubrey Plaza did. She's the perfect person for that role, and Mark Duplass did very well. Yeah, and I guess everybody else in the cast is pretty good. I mean, I thought it was just such a great movie, and it was really just like now in its and just like a lot of the phrasings they did and a lot of the things they talked about, I feel like it could have been happening as I was watching it. You know, it was really, really effective. So it might lose that as time goes on, but I just thought it was a really good movie, just kind of about now and just kind of people of that age level and stuff. So
yeah, I really like that. I like that movie too. It was really just a, I don't know, a nice movie.
Sure, yeah, and it's kind of one of those things where you go into an indie film, you don't really expect to be blown away. You just kind of expect to be different, I guess. And just kind of cool. But yeah, I was really blown away by it. I just thought it was really, really well done and a good story.
Yeah.
Blake?
I'll move on to one that I guess Ben and I can at least talk about. Sorry. Zero Dark 30.
I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen it yet?
I didn't watch it yet.
Oh. I guess I'll talk about myself for a while then. Story of the Hunt for Bin Laden by Catherine Bigelow. Yeah, wow, what a movie. 2.5 hour, 2 hour, 45 minute flies by. The last 30 to 40 minutes entirely is just them raiding this house. Mm-hmm. And it's, what do you expect from Catherine Bigelow? The toughest female on the planet, I think, making these guy movies. Jessica Chastain, well-earned Oscar nomination. She
won the Golden Globe.
She did. She's probably going to win the Oscar. I mean,
so?
I don't know. I think her only competition will probably be from Jennifer Lawrence, but the whole movie is her. I mean, she's almost in every scene of the movie. Mm-hmm. So she nails it. I loved it. Great movie. One of the best for sure.
I can't wait to see it.
Now she's also did The Hurt Locker.
Correct. Catherine Bigelow did. Yeah. The Hurt Locker, Point Break. Near Dark, one of the better vampire movies from the 80s. What else has she done?
Strange Days.
That's a fantastic movie. But she had kind of a lump in the early 2000s, and then now she's back with a vengeance, and she's winning awards left and right.
Although she did not get nominated for Best Director.
Nope.
The Academy Award.
I actually thought she was the frontrunner to win again, and she wasn't even nominated. So.
Oh, wow.
She did win for Hurt Locker.
She did win for Hurt Locker.
Yeah. Director and picture.
Yep.
I have recently seen Django Unchained, Tarantino's new film. I really liked it. I want to see it again. This is the first movie that he lost his longtime editor, Sally Menke, after Inglourious Bastards, and you can tell that he doesn't have his editor.
Yep.
But because I'd say there was 20 minutes of fat that could have been cut out just throughout the movie. But I mean, minor gripe. It's still Tarantino. It's still.
Yeah. That's another one I was watching, and I was kind of like, I wasn't enjoying it when I was watching it, and then it was after I watched it, it started to like slowly seep into me. It was kind of like, yeah, I really enjoyed that. Very, very violent movie. Very violent. Would not recommend taking anyone under 15 probably to it. Shouldn't be seeing that stuff. If you're not a fan of the N-word, it gets said repeatedly throughout the movie. He's taken some flack of how violent the movie is, but honestly, would you depict the slavery another way. I mean, someone made a good point. That was basically our Holocaust for the United States. Very, very violent movie.
He doesn't hold anything back with
No.
with the language, with the violence, and I don't know if he
should.
I don't know if he should, because he's never, Tarantino's never really taken the safe route ever. So why expect that he's going to do that with the subject material here? So
Who was your favorite performance
in the movie?
Yeah.
It would probably go between DiCaprio or Christoph Waltz. Although I was pretty blown away by Jamie Foxx, and I didn't know when he first got cast in the role. I didn't really know what to expect. I mean, I figured he would bring his A game, but I really enjoyed Jamie Foxx in it too. But
Yeah, I think Christoph Waltz steals the show for sure. Although I think he's just basically playing Hans Landa from *Inglourious Bastards*. He's good at it. So
DiCaprio, though, wow, there are a couple scenes towards the end with DiCaprio that I was just on the edge of my seat.
He's not a nice guy in the movie.
He is not a very nice guy at all. And wow, yeah.
Is it funny? It's the way the trailers are depicted. It seems to kind of have this madcap. You know, you expect like some Benny Hill scenes with a bunch of fast running and stuff.
Overall, I wouldn't say like it has that Tarantino like vibe to it where like it's violent, but it's still like somewhat like Pulp Fiction is a very serious movie, but there's still like there's parts you laugh at,
and some of the violence could be considered humorous.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction. Yeah.
There's one hilarious scene in Django Unchained, sorry, The D is Silent, where a bunch of regulators, the pre-Ku Klux Klan members, argue about the size of their bag, the bags over their head, and I mean, I was laughing so hard in the theater.
Jonah Hill shows up during.
Jonah Hill shows up. You know, it's weird. I had a black guy sitting behind me at the theater, and it made the movie less funny for me. And he did walk out before the end of the movie.
He did.
He did, with about 10 minutes left. I think he had enough. But I don't know if that hindered my. You know, I mean, I think I've had more respect for that era. I don't know. It made the movie less funny for me. I'm not blaming him at all. You know, but that affected me watching it for sure. I have heard people that saw it with, like, the theater is 75% full of African Americans, and they, like, were just digging it, you know, because, so, I didn't find it as funny as his other stuff, but.
Yeah, you mentioned. I was just gonna say you mentioned Pulp Fiction. I think I laugh every time Marvin gets shot in the face.
Yeah,
every time.
And the violence is not like that at all.
Yeah.
There's a lot of exploding blood and guts, though.
A lot of blood. Yeah, a lot of blood.
It's interesting that Tarantino's taken this route from, you know, Reservoir Dogs, Kill Bill, you know, Pulp Fiction in there too, obviously, and now he's done Inglourious Bastards and Django Unchained. We're almost kind of like, he's like almost doing historical fiction type of stuff. And it's interesting because I'm sure he's doing a lot of research and stuff. So I'm sure it's, you know, not necessarily accurate to a certain story, but it's accurate to the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would recommend that one too. A lot of movies that I recommend.
And he won a Golden Globe for screenplay.
Screenplay, yeah.
And I wouldn't be mad if he won the screenplay award for the Oscars either.
Yeah.
Interesting. Back to me. I forget what it was. Oh, I have watched an Academy Award nominee movie, Beasts of the Southern Wild. I watched it the other night. Crazy different movie. I wouldn't say I watched it because it was nominated. I was planning on watching it anyway, but then once, you know, at the time I had got it and then I was going to watch it, it was nominated. So, you know, I think when you watch a movie like that, you automatically expect to be somewhat impressed. So I didn't want to build it up too much, but I really was impressed. I don't know if I liked it, but I was impressed. I don't know if that seems kind of a weird statement, because I mean, it's certainly a look at a very different world, at least that we're used to, and I'm not sure people in that type of world ever watch movies, but it was just a really interesting story, very different look at society, and I'm sure it's not very far from the truth in a lot of cases. Let me ask you guys this: what did you think the Beast represented? There's
Life.
Life.
I think so.
Because my wife kind of thought they represented death. I felt like they represented society. Like
Well,
they're
yeah,
always trying to come in and destroy their way of life.
Yeah, I guess I saw it as, when I mean life, I meant like as in life, as in everything is going to come at you.
Yeah.
You have to deal with it.
Sure.
That's how I saw it as the movie, and I mean, the girl's great in it.
Oh,
She is.
It was just all very strange.
Yeah, I'll be honest, it's probably one of the worst movies I saw last year. I mean, the people who saw other shows know I didn't like it.
Yeah.
It just, maybe it wasn't in the right mindset to see
Yeah.
it.
I
hated it so much, but
it was very strange with the binge drinking.
Yeah,
Really no thought to want to better your life, and just
Yeah.
the father-daughter relationship was very intense.
yeah,
Very intense.
that girl is great though. I mean, that's a very mature performance, if anything, for how old she
Yeah.
is.
How old is she?
I think she's 7 now, 7 or 8. But she was 5 or 5 or 6 when she did the movie.
6, I think.
Yeah.
I guess for me, what kept me engaged is I'm a sucker for a few different things in movies. Something that's just different automatically. I mean, that was just a little different right away.
Yeah.
I love when the main character narrates. I don't know why. I love that. I'm just such a sucker for that. And when you show me a movie from a very different outside society from what we're used to, at least from what I'm used to, I really love that.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people hated the movie, but that movie, The Village, I absolutely love.
I like the Village
The
too.
premise of that movie and kind of where it was coming from. I think it was billed wrong, but
if there's one thing I could appreciate about the Beast of Southern Wild was how loose it felt. You know, there really wasn't like a plot. It kind of just like floated in this universe.
in a way, that's kind of how their life was too.
Yeah.
You know, it was. Yeah.
That's a first-time director, right?
Yeah.
Debut.
I thought he was
pretty impressive debut.
I thought he was 23 or 24, but I guess he's 30. So that's way off of that.
I am kind of surprised that I'm surprised that it got nominated for so much stuff for the Academy Awards. I mean, you can tell that the Academy is wanting to. They always got to throw in some sort of like they got to get indie with their picks. But nominating for all of that stuff, I don't know.
Best director shocked me when I was watching the nominations announced. I couldn't believe it.
The Beast of Southern Wild.
Yeah, I did not see that coming at all.
Yeah, especially when you have Ben Affleck and Catherine Bigelow not getting nominated, but. Yeah, it's one of those movies you expect to be impressed because of its nominations, but it's not a movie that I see very many people watching and liking and understanding. And I'm not saying that you didn't like it because you didn't understand it, Blake. I'm just saying it's certainly out there, and you do probably have to be in a good mindset to watch it. I guess I
was looking forward to watching it.
Yeah,
and well, it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it was a pretty impressive movie. I think it's kind of a movie for movie buffs. If you liked, I think Where the Wild Things Are, it's kind of it's a little bit kind of along that same lines. It's more real than fictional, but it's
dealing with kids and kids' feelings and imagination.
Well, they kind of both deal with kids having to grow up immediately.
Yeah.
So both movies are very well shot. Beast of the Wild is great to look at, no matter what you're looking at. It's kind of mostly garbage you're looking at for the entire time, but it's very good looking garbage. When I mean garbage, I mean where they live.
Yeah, when we first started watching it, we were eating, and I'm just like, oh.
Yeah.
But and maybe that's why it kind of just grasped me into, because I'm just like, oh, what's next?
Did you pause it and then finish?
There was some pausing. Yeah. Finish my pizza. But anyway,
I would recommend that one.
Yeah, it's certainly not.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Certainly not for everybody.
Well,
yeah.
God, I don't know. I kind of would recommend it. I mean, based on the fact that you probably haven't seen anything like it before.
Yeah,
and it'll probably hopefully cause some sort of discussion.
Sure. And
watching it.
And people. You can automatically think of people in your life who you'd say no, don't watch that, and then say, oh yeah, you might think this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love a movie that's different. I love the different society plot, and I love narration from the main character. I mean, sometimes you see a movie that's narrated by somebody else, like Royal Tenenbaums. Is that Alec Baldwin?
Right.
Yeah, and it's cool. I love narration movies regardless, but I think when it's the main character, you kind of it does seem kind of like a crutch to me, but I still like it all at the same time because when they're narrating, they can show their feelings. They can tell you their feelings rather than show them. But I don't know. I just like it just the same.
Right when you said that, the first thing that came into my head was in Adaptation with Brian Cox talking to Nicolas Cage about if you use like something like, and God help you if you use narration in your film.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I think the first movie I ever saw that in was Bull Durham. Susan Sarandon does a little bit of narration in that. She's got a nice southern, sexy voice. But anyway.
I don't mind narration in a movie. I guess it depends.
It depends.
Yeah.
So yeah.
As long as it's not too much, like the whole movie. Blake, what else you got?
Oh man, what could I talk about? I'm gonna echo Ben's thoughts on Skyfall, which I think easy top 5 Bond movie for me.
I would agree.
I don't know if there are. It's one of the best shot movies of the year. Roger Deakins, who's a longtime Coen Brothers shoot.
If he doesn't win the award for best cinematography,
I retired from watching the Oscars. So, I mean, there's some stuff in there. I was just like, I quit. This is, I mean, like not the last, I should say. There's a scene at the end. You haven't seen it, right?
No.
There's a scene at the end, near the end, where like there's a good 15 minutes at least where the only thing that lights up the screen is a burning house in the background, and with like these characters walking towards the camera, and it's just so diabolical. It's so
gave me goosebumps.
So good. But overall, everything, the pacing is great in it. Daniel Craig has never been better in a Bond movie, I don't think.
It's his best Bond movie.
The Bond villain, to me, is a little weak. His introduction is fantastic into the movie. There's no Bond girl in the movie. I like that about it.
Yeah.
Some fantastic action sequences. We were talking about the other night when he was in Hong Kong, and there's the only thing that lights up the screen is basically neon signs in the background and gunshots from a muzzled gun. That was great.
I've never seen anything like that before.
That was great.
It didn't. I don't think it cut once. It's
I don't know.
It's just the camera, like either zooming in or zooming out, and you can actually see all the entire fight, which is.
And like I told you the other night, it's like people who loved the Bond series. They gave it to them and they said, please love this, and they made a loving Bond tribute without being all hokey, like Die Another Day, where they kept referencing everything. So
what a terrible one that was.
I love Skyfall. It's a great movie.
I would have probably put it on one of my top 10 lists.
I probably would too, actually. Yeah.
But we're gonna have to go. One of the next shows, we're gonna actually have to make a top
Oh God, I don't know. I don't know if I could.
Maybe. I still have to see a couple more, but I think with the villains though, it was, I don't know. I didn't really care for the villains from Casino Royale or Quantum of Solace very much. Where I thought Javier Bardem was a better villain than the last two.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like whenever I see him, I see Anton Chigurh, and I don't know if I can get past that.
Even the albino-ness?
What's that?
Even his albino?
Yeah, I don't know. And then he had that weird thing with his face melting, and that was bizarre, but I thought it was great. It felt like it nailed down terrorism in a Bond movie for the first time. You know, he's kind of like a terrorist. All the things he tries to do. So,
Dark Knight of the series.
Yeah, for sure. Finally, right?
What else you got on your list, Blake?
Oh man,
Go through and give us some grades real quick or something. Maybe.
I watched Being Elmo. About the guy who created the Elmo puppet. Have you seen it?
No.
Oh man, I thought it was great. That's also Netflix. I can go through the Netflix too, couldn't I?
Isn't Elmo just a Grover ripoff? Did they address
There's so
that?
much more.
Yeah.
I wanted to see it, and then
I
don't know if I do or
I
don't
like
now
it
with all the hoopla surrounding that
Very,
guy.
very touching movie. I watched this old 70s horror movie called The Car, also on Netflix, about a guy, it's about a sheriff in a small southwestern, I think New Mexico town, who has to fight off this car who basically is just running people over for no reason. And they don't know who or what. That. The great thing is they never show who's in the car. And it's just this car running people over, and they gotta stop it. Couldn't ask. Yeah, I love it.
Herbie fully possessed.
I kind of feel Tarantino's Death Proof was somewhat inspired by it. I watched The Paperboy.
I didn't watch that.
With John Cusack, Nicole Kidman, Zac Efron. For those who have always wanted to see Nicole Kidman pee on someone, they finally made a movie for you.
Yes.
I'm gonna watch it today.
It's trash, but it's very, very good trash.
Good.
What?
Like a rating? What would you?
I'd give it like a B-, probably a C+.
Okay.
I watched The Impossible.
About a Paperboy?
No, he's he's more of an errand boy who kind of drives people everywhere. But I watched The Impossible with Naomi Watts and Ewan McGregor. It was good. It's about the tsunami in 2005 that claimed over 200,000 people. But it's a true story about this family who gets caught up in it. And I was watching it. They actually showed the tsunami hitting the beach and the resort. It looked real. It looked like they were there filming it. I mean, like, there was not a hint of, oh, that's CGI. And there's not a hint of it. I don't know how they did it. It's very well done. After that, it gets kind of slow, and I think Naomi Watts is nominated for an Oscar for that.
I think so.
Which is weird because she spends half the movie in a bed kind of just...
Right.
Yeah, so I watched Flight with Denzel Washington. I'd put that on my top 10 list probably. I liked it a lot. One of his best performances in years, I'd say.
Interesting. Yeah, I was surprised that's getting so much press, but yeah, it must be.
It's
must
really
be very good. I mean, I've always liked Denzel. I just feel he's a little typecast at this age. But.
Yeah, he nails it. Watch The Hobbit. I say skip it. Didn't care for it.
Did you watch it in 3D?
I did not watch
4D?
it in 3D. No, I did not.
5D, whatever it is.
I watched the movie Dread. If you're looking for an action movie, look no further. I mean, it's good at what it does. It's good at killing people, and they do a lot of it. Have you seen The Raid? Have you seen The Raid, Ben?
Yeah, that movie's crazy.
It's basically Dread is basically a futuristic raid. It's the same idea. Cops trapped in a building. Hey, kill them, you'll get the reward, and lots and lots of killing in it. Lots of bloody.
And it's really short too, right?
It's like 85, 90 minutes.
I like it.
Where would you rank it with the original Judge Dredd? Master Soul.
Judge Dredd.
Really? Wow.
No, I mean, have you seen Judge Dredd?
Anybody in Dredd?
Lena Headey, is she in Game of Thrones? The blonde lady, who is the mother of that evil little bastard. What's his name?
Yeah. She is in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, she's the bad guy in Dredd, and Carl Urban, who is from the Lord of the Rings series, who plays... Oh, man. I can't remember his name. Boromir's brother. He's Dredd. He never takes his helmet off. You never see his face. I thought that was pretty awesome. And Olivia Thirlby from Juno, Juno's friend, is the other person who's in it.
Okay.
I like that a lot. I don't know if Ben would like it, but if you like The Raid...
I did like The Raid.
It's kind of like The Raid mixed with Zack Snyder a little bit.
Cool.
Alright, this has been Talking Movies. We've seen a lot of movies. Thank you for listening, watching, wherever you are. Remind you to watch our friends at SoDak Humpcast. Apparently we're brought to you by Netflix as well. Also want to put in a plug for Sioux Falls Institution, Cinema Falls. They're doing a Oscar short night at Icon Lounge February 9th. If you want to go watch some short films.
Is it the 9th? Is it the 9th?
I think it's the 9th. Check the day on Facebook. But yeah, Oscar Shorts brought to you by Cinema Falls. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.